Hi, guys. I am Yolanda, one of the co founders of Harper Therapy. And I am sharing with you today, much more personally. I have been doing a lot of thinking lately. This week is our baby girl's 18th birthday. We have 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl. And when we were preparing for our daughter's birth almost 18 years ago, her birthday's on Saturday, had 2 other little ones at home. We were just days after 9/11, and I had no way to comprehend what these 18 years would bring. So I was already a mom, but it feels like there's something very tender about the baby turning 18, and just an opportunity to pause and reflect a little bit about what these years have looked like and what I've learned. So by no means am I any kind of expert. Shaman and I have been in the parenting trenches just like everyone else. We are not perfect parents. Our kids are not perfect. But here are some of the things that I've learned. I think one of the first things that I would share to a mom getting ready to give birth is really spend some time and allow yourself to get clear on what's important to you. And for your kids, our society swirls with so many different opinions, with the way that things should be, shouldn't be, so many conflicting ideas of parenting and what that's supposed to look like. So get clear for yourself about what that looks like for you, what you are wanting your kids to experience in raising them, the values that are important for you to instill in them. And then continually remind yourself of that, because a lot of times our values and what society tries to dictate to us as what's important are very different things. The second is this idea of a parenting paradox. Parenting and motherhood especially is simultaneously bone-crushingly hard. Like those hard days are so hard. It's almost like you can barely keep your head above water. But they're also breathtakingly beautiful. And that goes with any season of raising kids, whether it be infancy, newborn, the toddler years, those preschool years, the school age years, the preteen, the teen angst, and even into parenting adult children. It is that paradox of both hard and beautiful. So just keep that in mind. That's totally normal, but I think it's something that I know it's not something that I expected. I always thought that if I was doing it right, it would just kind of flow. If I was doing it right, it would just kind of flow. But it's the paradox. Then I think it's so important for us to find our parenting tribe. Find your people. And this is just like if you were to draw a 1-inch box by 1-inch box, like your people should fit into that box. We're not talking about a huge tribe. We're talking about maybe another couple. So one of the things that has helped me to keep my head above water is to just connect with that other couple, that other mom that is in the thick of things too. That's like, yeah, this is tough. It's also been super helpful for me to have someone just ahead of me in the parenting journey that I can kind of keep my eyes on, that is willing to say, like, yeah, you're in a challenging state, but here's how things are different and here's how things get better. So just keep plugging along, right? We need that encouragement. And it's also been helpful for me to have someone who is on their parenting journey just behind me, to just kind of take a pause and take a look and say, hey, you got this. It's going to be okay. It's tough, but Come on, you can do it, you know. So having our parenting tribe has been really important and helped me get through the topsy-turviness of those hard, long parenting days. Another thing that I have found helpful in my mothering journey is a mantra that I have carried forward. So having a ritual, having a mantra, having something that when you are like in the weeds in the tough parenting moments, you can kind of implement. So one of my parenting mantras is, this stinks. This is completely developmentally appropriate and I hate it. And this stinks. This is really hard. So that has allowed me in those really hard moments to remind myself that this is a moment in time, that we'll get through this moment in time. And it's also helped me to remember that my kid is just doing their job. Like during those teenage years, my kid's job is to like push me away. And I really hate that. But it is completely developmentally appropriate. So just that reminder to myself. One of the most important parenting lessons that I have learned over the years is to be a good enough parent. I was in graduate school and was already a mom to 3 kids. And as we were going through, childhood development, I just was sitting in class and I was like, oh my gosh, I have ruined my kids. And then thankfully we studied Winnicott and his theory of the good enough parent, the good enough mother. And that was such a relief for me that I can release my perfectionism. Like, I'm not a perfect person. I'm certainly not a perfect parent. I can be a good enough mom. I can try my best and fail and then circle back around to my kids and say, oh man, I blew it. And even realize that that is even more important, like that process of admitting that I'm human and I make mistakes and reconnecting with them in our relationship, that is even more powerful than being perfect from the get-go. So once we give ourselves permission to be human and permission to make amends, that's so powerful. And one of the last things that I want to offer to you is just some thoughts on parenting that I've learned over the past 22 years, since our oldest is 22, but the baby's about to turn 18, and has given me pause to just kind of sit and think about what it's been like to be a mom, is that our own parenting experience offers us the beautiful opportunity to heal some of our own childhood wounds. When we come into our own parenting experiences, we oftentimes have the thought that we want our parenting to replicate what our own experience was growing up, as, and during our own childhood, or we want it to be the exact opposite. So when we are curious about the things in our parenting that are especially tender or feel especially big, that can give us guidance and lead us to just those wounded parts of ourselves that we all have. None of us gets out of childhood completely unscathed. None of us gets out of life without having hard things happen. And this opportunity, noticing these things in parenting and our own parenting, just gives us some insight around some of the areas that we can explore and heal, so that we can continue to grow and continue to be better and better versions of ourselves and better versions of ourselves for our kids and in our relationships. So as I am just being reflective and pausing and with just so much gratitude for the gift of being a mom to my kids, as hard as that has been over the years, wanted to share some thoughts about that with you. So I'd love if you would share some of your thoughts in your parenting journey. What are some of the takeaways that you have experienced up until this point in parenting kids? Go ahead and drop those down in the comments below. I'd love to hear those. Love learning from other parents. So thanks, guys, for spending some time with me. Hope these tips were just kind of thought provoking. Have a great day.